Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your January 2020 mid-month general readings. We're looking at the last half of January, basically from around the middle of the month, the 15th or 16th, through to the end of the month, timing always being somewhat fluid. This reading is for the water sign of Cancerians, our crabs. That is Cancerian Sun, Moon, Rising, if your Venus is in Cancer, or if you are cross-watching for a Cancerian as well. Watch all of your signs if you know them, because general readings always resonate a little differently for everyone, and watching all of your sign videos can kind of help create a more comprehensive picture and be more helpful in dealing with what's going on in your life at this time, as many of you already know. And if any of you are interested in reaching out for a personal reading, just click on the description link below for more info and contact details. Personal readings also make great gifts for friends, family, and loved ones, and you may want to check out the 6 and 12-month overviews I do, which take a look at what's coming in all the main areas of your life over the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. And people order them at all different times of the year. But now is a particularly great time to have overview readings, as we are kind of still transitioning into a new year, so something else to consider. Again, just click on the description link below. You'll find my contact info there. You can email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. And as I do readings full time, I can usually respond to your initial inquiry within the same day, and scheduling the actual reading is done in as quick and timely a fashion as possible too. So shoot me an email if you're interested, and we'll go from there. So let's move right into this reading, and welcome to everyone here. I hope that you're having a wonderful or at least peaceful transition into this new year. So Cancer, let's see what the last half of January shows for you. Okay, Cancer. We begin with the Nine of Swords, followed by the Hanging Man. We have the Chariot, followed by the Queen of Pentacles. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and focus for the last half of January is the Ace of Swords. Or, you know, it might not be, for some people, the overall energy might not be, you know, the thing that you're focused on in your day-to-day life, but it's that constant undercurrent kind of running under everything. So it looks like there has been some kind of epiphany, or, you know, the light bulb's gone off over your head. You're seeing something either for the truth and reality of what it is, or seeing it in an entirely different perspective, that isn't really colored with emotions of what you want it to be, or wish it would be, or hope it would be. It doesn't necessarily mean it's negative. What the Ace of Swords does is it comes in and it cuts through extraneous fantasy and illusion and emotions and wishes, and it clarifies something where you're seeing it in an absolute light. Now, for some of you, this can be, you know, getting a brand new idea about something. This can, for some of you, be seeing an already existing situation in a completely different light, and that light is truth, illumination, clarity. That's also the energy, the air energy of swords. It's all about what goes on up in our heads, our belief systems and ideologies and perspectives and ideas and words. It's all about what goes on in our mind. Also, truth, honor, illumination. So aces represent the number one, the start of something new, a new beginning. So the Ace of Swords, a new idea, a new perspective. The Ace of Swords comes in and it illuminates something in its absolute truth and clarity, in order to provide you with an opportunity to create a more healthy reality. And this can resonate in any area of your life. For example, if this would be, you know, work, career, and finance. Let's say that you were struggling in your job and how to do something. This could be kind of the light bulb going off and going, oh, this is what I need to do, or this is what I need to do to get a better job. In relationships, this could be, you know, If you've been struggling with issues, it can represent seeing the truth and reality of the situation, which provides you with an opportunity to make choices to perhaps either fix or heal something, or to separate and move on. Sometimes the energy of the Ace of Swords can be a bit challenging for those of you for whom it might mean seeing an existing situation that you have been struggling with or unhappy in, but still kind of want to hold on to it, or you still have the hope that I wish it was this, I hope it's going to be this, I'm dreaming that it's going to be this, so I'm kind of sticking with it. Sometimes the Ace of Swords can come in, and it actually just shows what it actually is. And sometimes that can be challenging, because what it may show is that the way forward needs to be that you need to let go of something. And but it does create an opportunity to create a healthier path, a more healthy reality for you. That's the energy of the Ace of Swords. So that's kind of overall energy for the last half of January. Now we have the Nine of Swords and the Hanging Man. So the middle of the month, maybe the third week or so, is a bit more challenging. We have the Nine of Swords, which is a card of something kind of hijacking your thoughts, your emotions, perhaps your sleep as well. This is sometimes referred to as the insomnia card. This woman is unable to sleep because she is consumed with all of these thoughts, ideas, either a variety of them or one overriding one. And And the Nine of Swords can sometimes represent making mountains out of molehills. But I don't really want to simplify it like that, because, you know, the source of whatever your fears and concerns are, and this is often about fear of the future, an unknown future, or how something's going to work out. You can't see how something's going to work out. The source of your concerns, fears, struggle, anxiety, worry is valid, but the Nine of Swords does come up when the energy around it not only is negatively focused, but it's obsessive. It's kind of like the thing you keep chewing on over and over and over again, or the sore that's trying to heal, or you just kind of keep poking at it. And the other thing I'm going to say here too is that this is a card which represents seeing often only the concerns, the anxieties, the worries, the fear, the negativity of a situation. Now you can see that there's a little owl sitting on the windowsill here. And owls are one of those universal symbols of wisdom, insight, enlightenment, solution, clarity. But this woman isn't looking at the owl. She can't see that because she's consumed with all of these other swords, all of these other ideas and worries, even though that owl is lying close by her, or it's sitting right on the windowsill. She could just almost reach out and touch it, which is interesting because your overall energy is the Ace of Swords, which is clarity and illumination. Now, so the Nine of Swords is clarified by the Hanging Man. The Hanging Man is a card that represents, it can also represent not knowing how something is going to play out, because the Hanging Man hangs upside down in an uncomfortable and awkward position. Why does he do this? Because he's standing back from a situation that is still in flux. It's still in play. There's things still playing out, and he may not know everything. There's always divine timing and orchestration at play, and this man may want to kind of jump in and do something, or set himself on a certain path, or act in a certain way. But he doesn't, because he's still watching things play out and still seeing how things go. And also in this perspective, you can also gain a different perspective and some more wisdom, insight, and clarification. It might be a difficult energy to have, but it's transitional, and the Hanging Man understands that this is kind of a minor sacrifice now for a greater payoff down the road. And the greater payoff would be in full enlightenment to the situation. But yet there's all this stress and anxiety and worry. So the Hanging Man is clarifying all this negative energy here. And it's as if, Cancer, I feel like a lot of you, whatever the situation is, it might be career, work, and finance for some of you, it might be love and relationships, general health and well-being, maybe something that involves all of those things. It feels like you have an answer to something, or a clarity in a situation where you may not have had clarity before. But you're still, for some of you, I think the Ace of Swords has provided you with insight and clarity to a situation, which has provided you with the opportunity to choose a different path or do something different, walk down a different road rather than the one that you've been on with this situation. But for some of you, you're holding back on making that decision or making that break or doing something different because you are in fear of, because you have this let me see if I can explain this a cohesive way, because I'm getting like a couple different stories here. So for some of you, this may be about a relationship that you're in, and you've had, I think, for some time, but finally something has happened recently to show you, you know, this is what the relationship is, and this is what it looks like it's going to be playing out in the future. And that's not a happy place for you, and it's not really what you want. But yet you still feel kind of chained to the situation. I mean, the preceding card to the Nine of Swords is the Eight of Swords, of course, which shows a woman who's, you know, surrounded by swords and she's blindfolded and all this stuff, so it represents feeling trapped and held hostage. And then the Nine of Swords is about, you know, insomnia. So it feels like this is a situation you still feel kind of stuck to, and you're not making a decision, you're not moving forward, in spite of the fact that you now have the clarity and insight you need in terms of what the reality of the situation is now, and you're still holding back, watching how things play out, because you're still, you know, perhaps you're still holding out hope against hope kind of situation here. Some of you in a similar energy have made the decision or are making the decision, which I think for a lot of you is a very challenging decision. It may be to end a certain relationship or remove yourself from a certain relationship or situation, but you're still kind of, for the time being, however the details and specifics of this are playing out for you, Cancer, whatever it is that you've been shown recently, the clarity of the situation, which provides you with the opportunity to make a choice to go in a different and healthier direction, it feels like you're still allowing fear of what your path looks like, which you can't really predict in the future, fear of what the path might look like, what might happen or not happen, prevent you from taking the opportunity to create, to start walking down a healthier path and create a healthier reality and existence for yourself. You're still kind of allowing these, you know, almost some of them distinct, some of them fuzzy kind of fears about, you know, an indeterminate future playing out. Perhaps you're staying in an unhealthy relationship or job work situation or something, because even though you're not all that happy, you're afraid of being without work, or that you won't find another job, or you won't find another job at least that gives you what this one does, or another person, etc. And it's almost as if you can't kind of bear the idea of that, because the future seems to stretch out in this kind of interminable gray, you know, not having anything sort of situation. But that's not in fact the truth here. But that's kind of this energy around the middle of the month, third week or so. Now, the reason we do these readings, forewarned, forearmed, so you can kind of get a glimpse of what's coming. Knowing this, I mean, we live in a free will zone. You can make the decisions you want to. Spirit does not show us illumination and clarity on a situation to provide us with an opportunity to walk a path that's going to be miserable. You know, God, Spirit, your angels and guides, they love you. They want you to have joy and fulfillment in your life, in your work, in your relationships. That's what they want for you. So they wouldn't have provided this kind of answer or solution or insight and clarity, for those of you who connect to this reading, to walk a path that would be worse than the one that you're on, you know, if you're in an unhappy, unhealthy situation, regardless of what it is. So the very fact that this insight and this kind of illumination, this wake-up call has been given to you, is to put you on a path where you can have joy and fulfillment. So when this energy comes up, try not to feed it too much, because that's not why you were given this clarity and this illumination, even if it's, you know, challenging to look at. It's been given to you for the opportunity to make decisions to put yourself on a different path, or start something different that's going to actually create a better path than where you are right now. So keep that in mind. So around the last week or so of January 2020, we have the Chariot and the Queen of Pentacles. Much, much better energy here. So the Chariot is powerful forward movement, success, determination, perseverance, winning because you just refuse to give up. No matter how many times you fall down, you just continue to give up and continue to, you continue on, you keep on. This is about staying ambitious, staying focused on your goals. And what clarifies it, what are you moving so powerfully towards or focusing on? We have the Queen of Pentacles. Pentacles is earth energy, and it's often about the stability and security of the physical structure of our life, the things in our life that make us feel safe. It can be financial, material success, long-term stable relationships, or some combination of all of those. Kings and queens are individuals who have mastered that. They've reached a point of discipline and self-control and balance and responsibility with the character traits inherent to their suit. So the Queen of Pentacles represents someone, can be Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn energy, that she's very capable, she's very practical, she's very resourceful. She's probably comfortable or at least safe and stable in her financial and material world because she's worked hard on getting there. So some of you are, it looks like, and I'm glad to see kind of getting out of this Nine of Swords energy and just perhaps focusing on work or focusing on the stability and security of your life, whatever that represents, whether it's a 9-to-5 job, building up your finances, you know, taking on projects, taking care of the things that make you feel safe, stable, and reliable in your life, and you're almost obsessively kind of focused on that. It could be for some of you, if this is, you know, a love and relationship issue that, or some kind of personal relationship issue that's causing you all the stress and anxiety. It's kind of like, you know, maybe around the third week or so, the last week of the month, you're just kind of like, bag this. I'm just going to focus on what makes me feel good and safe and stable and in charge and in control of my own life. And for some of you, and I hope this resonates for more of you than it doesn't, you make the decision to move forward on whatever this illumination, clarity, answer, or solution was, because it's actually moving, it's actually meant to move you to a place where you're going to have this kind of stability and security and relevance that you are so longing for. Now I'm going to pull one more message, as a higher message from Spirit or advice from Spirit on what's the best way for you to navigate during this time period through this situation, or at least through the last half of January. Oh, we had one just fly right out there. Two, actually. So the first one that came out is the Hierophant. So higher message from Spirit is what you're going to find helpful to get you through this time or to help support you at this time, whether it's a good time or a challenging time. This one looks a little bit more challenging. So the Hierophant is about conformity, convention, tradition, the prescribed path. These are things that have nice, long, stable roots. It can represent corporations, institutions, organized religions, family roots of origin. The things that you have a historical connection to that make you feel that have been there for a long time, and when you're there it gives you that sense of comfort that you know, people, places, and some people, places, and situations can give you, because they're always there, they've been there. There's a kind of a comforting sense of continuity by knowing something's going to be the same way every time you go, or the same people are going to be there. Even if it doesn't provide a clear solution to anything going on in your life, we can find that a source of comfort. For some of you this might be a religious path, for others of you it might be family, old friends. For some of you who, you know, don't do the whole specific religious path sort of thing, this could also be, you know, a rooted routine. Like if there's a particular coffee shop you go to frequently or all the time, the same people are there, you have these connections, you know, the routines that you go to that have always been there, and that you take some kind of comfort sometimes from routine during more challenging times. It represents that, leaning on that during this time period as well. The tried and true, what has been there for you and continues to be there for you. And then we had the Eight of Pentacles, which is the work card, working hard, nose to the grindstone, focusing focusing on work, on projects, on your stability and security, which is how this Queen of Pentacles got to be the Queen of Pentacles, by investing this kind of work and effort moving forward. And sometimes when we're going through particularly an emotionally very difficult or challenging time, or breakups, you know, it can work, and projects can be a therapeutic kind of blessing for us, because they take us out of this over obsessive focus on what's going on or what's behind us and what has just transpired, and gives us not only a bit of a distraction for our mind and sometimes our body, which is necessary and healthy, taken in proper balance measure, but it also, you know, particularly if it's work or projects, can be a positive addition to the stability and security we're focused on building in our life. So Spirit is kind of agreeing with the energy that you are already manifesting, it looks like, towards the end of January 2020. So Cancer, that is your reading for the last half of January 2020. I hope that you got something out of it that was useful for you. Again, if any of these readings resonate for you, you can, and you are interested in reaching out, sorry, my brain just went somewhere else for a minute, and you're interested in reaching out for a personal one-on-one reading with me, or as a gift for friends, family, or loved ones, just click on the description link below. For more info and contact details, you can email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be most happy to work with you and set up something for you in as timely a fashion as possible. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the February 2020 general readings, and until then, I hope everyone continues to have a wonderful, peaceful, safe transition into this beautiful new year, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.